Dunleavy.
Big Mike. Does he like he can still play? What's up, baby?
Let's go to Mike Dunleavy, general manager of the Golden State Warriors. What's up, Mike? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I feel like all I do is talk to you.
It's weird.
I show up and,
it's incredible.
Think I should make some trades or sign some players. No, you got to talk to these guys on 95.7. All right, here we go.
Well, you know what? I mean, I was thinking about that last year. I asked Steve Kerr about it. So you have a shoot-around. Kerr's available. Then you have a game that night. He talks before the game. Then you have a game. He talks after the game. Then you have practice the next day. He's got to talk again. Like, it's a lot. Our
wonderful PR guy, Raymond Ritter, is not going to like this, but there's too much access, especially, honestly, factoring in nowadays, the Twitter and the social media stuff that guys are posting on their own. They're communicating with fans and the world as it is, and then you give all these different media access points, which is great and necessary, but it's probably a little too much.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, like, before all the social media, like, there's so much stuff that comes out now, either through the players or through any entity. Like, you have more information, and it also tends to make you ask about something that you thought was in the past, but somebody brought it up. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
It's just anything can pop up at any time.
I think from a media standpoint too. I mean, you guys could tell. I mean, I imagine you get tired of asking questions.
Yeah.
And you're trying to come up with things to ask. If you're seeing, Steve Kerr like 3 or 4 times in 2 days.
Right.
It's just all right. He's available. Let's just throw some stuff out there. And almost like not great for either side.
Right.
Mike, I'm super random. And you've been a part of this organization. I've seen you with Bob watching the game for years. And as much as you can, just share with us what's going on inside you, because tomorrow night it kicks off your era as the general manager. Is that I just got a different job? Like, what are the emotions? Walk us through that, because it's got to be different.
Yeah, good question. We'll see how it feels tomorrow night. The one thing I do know is after the game, it will no longer be 0-0.
Right.
And so all this time, throughout the summer and, the draft and free agency and all that, building the team, now we're going to see what we got. And so I think it's exciting, and we'll get this thing going. And, I'm excited to see where we're at.
Let me ask you this, because I feel like each year takes on a different tone or a different theme, and I do sense a lot of excitement coming into this year from the fans and even from the organization. I think there's optimism, and I think one of the big reasons for that is Chris Paul. He has added maybe one little touch of urgency. And do you feel like this is the year that may decide if you have to transition or not at some point?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just feels like that's been the case the last few years. We'll see how things go this year, and then we may have to pivot. I mean, that's been going on since, the COVID year, it feels like, and we had all these younger draft picks. So that's always in play, but we're really excited about this season. The optimism is there. I think a little bit of a fall off last season in terms of how we performed, and I think our returning players sense that, and certainly the new guys coming in, there's an excitement from them. Chris and Dario, Corey Joseph, those guys are infusing some excitement into the team, and we're in a really good place, and now we just got to go out and, produce and play and honestly stay healthy.
Mike, I was telling Steiny, I was like, Klay Thompson, I want him to get his contract before the season starts, and then he can just go out there and not have to have anything on his mind. You being a former player, can you talk to us about if he doesn't have that contract, which it looks like he won't have by tomorrow, like, is that a concern to the organization at all?
I don't think so. I mean, I think our intended plan all along is to make sure Klay's here as a Warrior forever. We really want that to happen, and you got to work through it. I mean, as far as deadlines go, there actually isn't one. We have the entire season, but we'll keep working, talking through stuff. As far as a player standpoint, I think it cuts both ways. One, I think it's nice to have something wrapped up, and on the other hand, it's also nice to maybe feel like you got something to prove, so to speak. So I think Klay's going to go out and have a great year regardless of what happens, and we feel confident in being able to bring him back and have him be a Warrior for life.
Mike Dunleavy, general manager of the Golden State Warriors, joining us on 95.7 The Game. You got any? What's it looking like for Draymond tomorrow?
We'll see. I think Draymond's progressed well from his sprained ankle, and they're practicing today. We'll see what it looks like. I think he's truly day to day, and we'll see what unfolds in the next kind of 24 hours. But if he's not ready tomorrow, he'll be ready soon. And I think in preseason, a lot of good stuff happened, but pretty clearly you can see we really need Draymond. And so I can't wait to get him back and get him in the fold.
Your dad played, again, you played, you've watched a lot of basketball. When it was announced that the NBA, Mike was doing this in-season tourney, I came in hooting and hollering, what are they doing? And then I sat back and I was like, you know what, the other day, like, it's a part of 82. Can you share with us your thoughts and how different that's going to be? Because the games will not be at the team's, home court.
Yeah, I mean, I think in some ways the fact that it's, like you're saying, not too far outside the realm of what we already play with 82 games, and it's going to give you a little something in November when that's usually maybe a quieter time. You're past the start of the season and that excitement. Maybe you're looking forward to the holidays. Well, we got this gap in the season where football is kind of in vogue. Well, now we got something we're playing for in November, which is, I think, exciting. And I know our guys are going to be into it. And there'll be some games here at Chase. There'll be some games on the road. And then if we're fortunate enough to advance, the tournament itself, the elite, I guess the Final Four will be in Vegas, which it just provides a new element. And then going back to the start, like without going too far outside the confines of our normal season. So I think it's a really good plan, and we'll see how it unfolds.
Mike, what's the rule on you being able to comment on another player on another team? You can't?
You can. You just got to be careful about it.
Because, I want to ask you about Wanyama, because I watched that game Friday, and, I mean, is it possible that the same player could be a dominant perimeter defender and at the same time a dominant rim protector?
Yeah, I mean, I guess this guy's got a chance to change the game in that realm. He's a heck of a talent, and he plays both sides of the floor really well. And he'll obviously keep getting better. And the Spurs got a good one. So I don't know how much more or less I can say, but I think everybody who was here in the building or watched the game was very impressed, and will continue to be impressed throughout the season.
How important? I remember talking to Chris Mullenweg back in the day when he was GM. He loved length because it was the one thing that bothered him. What kind of priority do you guys put on length?
Yeah, we value it a lot. You'll see with our guys, people a lot of times talk about with our group, we get any more big guys, any more tall guys. Really, the length a lot of times is more important. You look at a guy like Draymond Green, Kevon Looney. Like Draymond's got a plus 7 foot wingspan. Looney, when he raises his hands above his head, his standing reach is up there with 7-footers. And so that's really the main thing. Can you defend the rim and can you grab a rebound? So we don't get as much caught up in the height as we do, but length really helps. I mean, defensively, whether it's Andrew Wiggins, even Steph's got decent length, and that stuff matters. It just helps you getting a hand on a ball, bothering a shot. All those different things matter, and it's something when we evaluate in the draft and trades and different stuff, we always take that into account.
Mike, one of the cool things about what we do is each day we come in and just share with the listeners how we feel and what we see. Not always right, but I don't know the inner workings of the Golden State Warriors, but I do know that Steph's been spectacular, and I'm going back to last year before Game 7 against the Kings. It was public knowledge that he gave a speech that Saturday, and I keep telling my partner and the fans, and I just feel this way, if you could speak to it, I feel like Steph's being more vocal. Would you say that's a stretch, lightweight accurate? I just feel like he's taking more of a leader role. Yeah, vocally.
I think Steph overall, chooses his spots, and he's there every day as a leader in terms of his work ethic and the example that he sets. And then at games, you see it with his performance and his energy and joy, enthusiasm. Unbelievable leadership qualities. As far as being vocal, he picks his spots. I mean, I think it's tough day in and day out if people are constantly hearing the same voice. I think he recognizes that. So when he speaks, it's not every single day, but when he does, it's people listen, and that's really valuable.
Do you have any more roster decisions to make before tomorrow?
We really don't. We're rolling with 13 players to start the season. We'll have 3 two-ways on our roster, so 16 total available players. And, in a couple weeks, around November 6th, 7th, by that time, we'll have to add another 14th player, and we'll do so in that time. But for now, for tomorrow night, we'll have 13 guaranteed contracts, and like I said, 3 available two-ways, and we'll decide on those guys in terms of who's, active for the game or not.
Mike, you're going to laugh because my guy here gives me all kind of grief because, we're focused on the big stars, Steph, Dre, Klay, and then I always look at the roster. I'm excited about a lot of guys, but there's one guy in particular. He's my dark horse, Lester Quinones. Mike, to me, and I'm not Huey Brown, I feel like he has some Jordan Poole in him. Am I off base with that one?
Oh, I think that's fair. I mean, I think between mindset and just some of the wiggle and shake he has to his game with his ability to score the ball in bunches, we're high on Lester. We had him in our program last year. This is his second year back, and we've got him on a two-way right now. And, he's had a pretty solid preseason between games and practices. And, the good news, bad news for him is we've also had a lot of other guys have good preseasons. So there's a log jam for us in terms of getting playing time. But Lester's his potential and his growth plan is steady, and we're excited to see what he can do in this coming season.
He said wiggle. I see it. Mike sees it too.
Hey, how do you balance the fact that you kind of have a new team with Chris Paul because he's such an important player and the need to get off to a good start, and how much time you kind of give it to see how it's working and whether it's working as good enough as you want?
Sorry, say it one more time.
Yeah, and when will you think the difference between the adjustment of a new team needing to stay relevant and win? Is there going to be a point in the season where you're going to kind of make that decision?
Yeah, I mean, I think you always get a sense of your team pretty well out of the gates. The first 20 games, it's always a good barometer. We've got a tough start. Our first 9 games, 7 of 9 are on the road. The 2 home games are tough against Sacramento and Phoenix, so we're going to find out right away, in a sense. And who knows with Draymond's health, if he'll be available tomorrow night or the first few games. We got to see how that plays out. But I think we already know in terms of this group that we have a good starting unit, and whether Chris is in that or not, we also have a really good bench. You've seen what Dario and Chris have done when they've been in there with that second unit, along with Klay and JK and Gary Payton. So we feel like we know where it's headed, but we got to get all the pieces together and really, really evaluate it.
Mike, a big topic this offseason was the starting and finishing lineup once you guys acquired Chris Paul. And I just immediately went to Kevon Looney. And I know each game and each team is different, but I was thinking if there were ever a game where he didn't finish the game, can you just speak to his personality where you just know that's a guy that'll be okay with it?
Yeah. I mean, Loon's the ultimate pro, as good of a teammate as there is. And that doesn't mean that guy night in and night out doesn't want to play and compete, and he does that. And he gives us great minutes. Him and Draymond are just such a good front court pairing, and he's so in sync with all of our guys and sort of the rock of our team. So no matter how you cut it with him, he's whether he's starting, finishing, playing a little, playing a lot, he's always willing to do his role, and that's what we appreciate him for.
Mike, appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming up.
All right, guys.
Good luck,
thanks.
man.
We'll see you tomorrow. I mean, what?
I'm going to be
I'll
around.
say what's up.
I'm going to be around more this season, Raymond. I'm telling you that right now.
You hear him talking.
Because questions are going to need to be asked over the course of 82. No,
Thanks,
Mike,
guys.
thanks so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Good luck this season. That's Mike Dunleavy, general manager of the Golden State Warriors. And it's his first year.
Yeah.
See what kind of team he put together.